Dracula's Castle, Scarface's Mansion, and many more. Our sound stages are all just giant warehouses that have been soundproofed to make them the optimal environment for film and television production. And as we pass by some of our sound stages on the left-hand side, I'm keeping my eye out. Here, that's what they look like on the inside on your screens. They're just giant warehouses here. Stages 16 and 17 on your left-hand side are currently being used for Superstore, starring America Ferrera and Ben Feldman. They are actually filming today, so I'm just keeping my eyes peeled. See if we have any flashing red lights to say cameras are rolling right now. Here we go on your left-hand side. Superstore airs on NBC, and you can catch past episodes on NBC.com to get a sense of what is inside of those sound stages. They've expanded the set of Superstore so much that it's not only in those two sound stages, but stage 21 on your left-hand side as well. A lot of television production happens here on the lot. Whether it's The Good Place, starring Ted Danson and Kristen Bell, Superstore, Colony. So many TV shows filmed here. All of Steve Harvey's shows, and most of them have just come back from their summer vacation. A lot of you might still be on your summer vacation, but during summer, a lot of television shows take what we call a hiatus, which is their vacation time in between seasons. And they're just starting to come back now with some pre-production, getting ready for filming their new seasons. Some starting this week, some next week. Our television production actually goes back almost 75 years to the New York Fair. And Universal Studios, although best known for our rich movie history, is actually part of NBC Universal, one of the world's largest media companies, consisting not only of Universal Studios, but also many of your favorite television networks. On your right-hand side, stage 41 is where Champions is filmed. Champions airs on NBC, and Mindy Kaling is one of the producers. Oh, stage 43 has open soundstage doors. The Minions are welcoming us too. The NBC show Parenthood, starring Craig T. Nelson and Peter Krause, filmed in here, as well as in stage 44, which is right next door. Currently, stage 44 is used for The Good Place, starring Ted Danson and Kristen Bell. We're also going to see some of their exterior sets on the back lot a little bit later on in the tour. This soundstage was also used for some scenes in The Fate of the Furious. So all of our sound stages here can be turned over and over to use as any location, whether it's in a TV show or a movie. They've been here for years. You're seeing a lot of activity here on the lot because it is a weekday and there's lots of activity happening right now. We have a lot of rental facilities as well. So any production, whether it's a Universal movie or an NBC TV show or not, can come and rent any of these sound stages. So today there's some commercials filming here, as well as game shows and so on. We're going to see a row of trailers on your right-hand side. The trailers are what the stars use as their dressing rooms when they're filming here on the Universal lot. We'll also use them for makeup and hair. Wardrobe department will have its own trailer so that they can have all of the wardrobe options that they need. You'll see them on your right-hand side. There's some grip trucks here.
Options. Stage 44, NBC.
Doors to stage 44 are open on your right-hand side, so as we drive past, you may be able to take a peek inside and see what the sets look like on the inside. If you look on your right-hand side, there are some of the sets in there. Now those trailers are mobile so that if we're filming here on the lot or out on location, those stars can bring their dressing rooms with them, and it's really their private space, their home away from home while they're here filming. Back in the 1930s and 40s, stars didn't need to be mobile at all. They were contracted to work exclusively with one studio for a number of years, and these bungalows on your left-hand side, these served as dressing rooms to some of Hollywood's biggest names, like Doris Day, Jimmy Stewart, and Rock Hudson.
Got their own little apartment.
Nowadays, these are production offices for some of Hollywood's top writers, directors, and producers. Illumination Entertainment, who brought you the Despicable Me films, they have their offices here. Along with the De Laurentiis Company, who specializes in horror and thriller movies, they occupy, quite appropriately, Alfred Hitchcock's old office here on your left-hand side. Number 5195 is the De Laurentiis Company. On your left-hand side are two of our newest sound stages. Currently, the new season of Will and Grace is filming inside of stage 22, and on
Johnny
that
Carson.
second floor of the sound stage on your left, that's where all the writers' rooms are for Will and Grace. Everything they need to produce the show happens in this building. And there is a brand new show starting, filming in stage 23 this week. It hasn't even been released yet on NBC, so it's completely new. Oh.
I see Max.
So back there in stage 23, there was a flashing red light outside. That means cameras are rolling right now, which is why I had to go off microphone briefly. We've crossed the border now from the front lot to the back lot. The front lot is where we house our sound stages, and we film mostly interior scenes in those sound stages. We're crossing the border now to the back lot, and this is where we film exterior scenes on a much larger scale. Our first stop here is our metropolitan area, and this we can use as New York, London, Chicago, San Francisco, Boston, any big city in the world, even a fictional city. And they are setting up right now for some mazes for our Halloween Horror Nights events that start in just a few short weeks. In filming here, filmmakers can film with the security and safety of a movie studio without having to really shut down traffic and businesses out in the real world. The Fate of the Furious filmed on New York Street, along with Amazing Spider-Man, The Changeling starring Angelina Jolie, and The Purge Anarchy. We also film lots of television shows here, including American Ninja Warrior and Hairspray Live. Did a really fun event here. They were filming in the sound stages, and then they could dance directly out onto the streets of Baltimore because our metropolitan sets are just next door to those sound stages. Most often it is used as New York City, and my co-host Jimmy Fallon is just going to show you what it looks like on camera.
Hey everyone, welcome to New York. I got my start right here in New York on Saturday Night Live. This is actually my old neighborhood. Once got mugged over there. An old woman. Tough lady. This is my favorite hot dog guy. Hey buddy, how's it going? Remember me? No. Just like old times. Gotta love New York City. Hey, I'm walking here. It's cool, guys. I was just walking there. So it's not exactly New York, but a lot of times when you see New York in the movies, it was shot right here on the Universal Metro sets. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Even if you make it here on the Universal lot.
What you see here on your right-hand side looks like a real building, like real bricks, but these are what we call facades, meaning they're just the fronts and the sides of the buildings. Inside, there's nothing but wood and metal support beams because we wouldn't film interior scenes out here on the back lot. We want to film those in a sound stage on the front lot where there's much more control over the environment and the sound. The bricks here are actually made of foam rubber, plaster, or fiberglass. These ones are fiberglass, and they're created in a mold that's almost like a waffle maker that you might have at home. Put a sheet of plastic in, we heat it up to about 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and then it prints a brick mold. And we've got dozens and dozens of molds that the production design department can choose from, and we make them right here on the Universal lot. Then they can get put up much faster than actually laying bricks, and more importantly, are completely temporary, You've seen New York Street in hundreds of commercials, music videos, as well as television shows and movies, and you probably didn't even realize that it was the same location, and that's a good thing. We want to use the same locations over and over again here on the Universal lot, and hopefully, if everyone did their job right, audiences at home would never know it. Inside, there are some staircases occasionally so that they can send actors up to a second level, look out of a window perhaps. And for the most part, we'll just film exterior scenes here. On your right-hand side, as we pass this brick wall, which was used in Colony on the USA Network, you'll see the green building that's used as Mindy's office on the Mindy Project, and the theater that was in Spider-Man 2. We leave our metro streets now for an island in the middle of the ocean.
All right.
King Kong. Here's Academy Award-winning director Peter Jackson, who directed the 2005 remake of King Kong for Universal Studios, to tell you just what influenced him in his career.
It's the original King Kong that made me want to direct movies. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I wanted to become a filmmaker. I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up an adventure. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times. So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island, and it's great to have you along for the ride. Now, we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have your glasses.
Go ahead and put your 3D glasses on, everybody, and hold on tight to your belongings. It is a bumpy ride here in Skull Island.
Whoa. Wow. Oh my God.
Let's hear it for King Kong! One of the world's largest and most intense 3D attractions. Guys, hold on to those 3D glasses. We are going to need them again a little bit later on the tour. Let me show you a little behind the scenes of that attraction. It was designed by Peter Jackson along with the folks at Weta Digital. You know them from their Academy Award winning work on King Kong, Avatar, and the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So our tram was surrounded by 2 giant screens on either side, measuring over 40 feet tall and 180 feet long. Here are the folks from Weta Digital to tell you all about creating this attraction.
With a project like the Studio Tour, the audience is in the middle of the environment. They're looking in all directions. There's creatures coming at them. They're seeing Kong from this side and T-Rexes from the other side.
Working on a movie, we always know where the people are looking. They're looking straight ahead. They're looking at the shot that we're working on.
Here you have to take into account that people are looking in all directions.
Also, one of the things about this ride, unlike the movies that we're used to working on, there's no cuts because it's one giant shot. This tram that's driving along through Skull Island is where the camera's from. This ring represents where the screen is 10 meters away.
We're really creating about 50 minutes of a feature film. That amount of visual information, that number of pixels, and presenting them to the audience, it's a hell of a ride.
You may have noticed that our tram made a cameo appearance in King Kong 360 3D. Did you guys see the T-Rex got the 5th car? King Kong saved them. They'll take the tour another time. Whenever a vehicle is shown on screen, whether in a TV show or a movie, it's called a picture car, like motion picture car. And we're coming up now to our transportation department with some of the most famous picture cars from Universal Films. So have those cameras ready. They're going to be on your left-hand side. Please remember to remain seated. Look out!
Oh, wow. Nice.
I do want to point out that gyrosphere from Jurassic World. It's on your left-hand side. In the movie, it's a glass sphere that just rolls around on its own. Glass is incredibly problematic for filmmakers because of the reflection. We don't want you to see the reflection of the camera or the crew when you're watching Jurassic World. So what you saw there is what was actually used in filming. The glass was entirely digital, added in post-production. Here's a fun cameo that was made in Jurassic World. That is Jimmy Buffett, musician and entrepreneur there, rescuing those margaritas from attacking pteranodons. We've got our own Margaritaville in City Walk where you can enjoy a cheeseburger and more after the tour today. Speaking of Jurassic World,
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
welcome back to Isla Nublar. You'll see the mobile lab unit from the Lost World Jurassic Park on your left, along with other props and vehicles used in the films. Another example of a picture car, this mobile lab unit is actually made of wood that's been painted to look like a metal tank. And if you look carefully at some of the trees in this area, you'll see that they're actually made of styrofoam. It's only in the movies where we make cars out of wood and trees out of plastic. It's all part of our greens department that helps create the atmosphere for the movies. Now, Jurassic World also created a creepy jungle atmosphere using rain. There was a lot of rain used in the Jurassic Park movies as well as Jurassic World because it is supposed to be a tropical island. We don't get a whole lot of rain here in Southern California, That doesn't mean we don't use it in the movies. Filmmakers just love to have as much control over their environment as possible, and that includes the weather. Here in Old Mexico, we're going to show you how we create rain for the movies. So on your right-hand side, it will continue to be a beautiful sunny day. And over on your left, we start with a little thunder, add in some lightning, and when everything's set, we say cameras rolling, sound speeding, and action! There goes sprinklers. Now, those overhead sprinklers actually send the water up into the air first so that it can fall to the ground naturally, just like real rain. The main difference is these raindrops are larger than rain in real life so that they show up better on camera. Back in the days of black and white film, we even added a little bit of milk powder to the rain solution so that it would show up better. The best part, of course, is that we can turn it off whenever we want. We just say, cut! And it keeps going.
Oh!
Can we cut the rain? Hello? You've seen it? Uh-oh. You may get wet. And that's the flash flood, everyone. So the flood is created by thousands of gallons of water being released to the top of the hill. Then it comes down under the bridge, back up to the top of the hill, ready to be used take after take after take. Here's how the flood looked in Big Fat Liar.
You can't run the Wolf King!
You can also see Old Mexico episodes of CSI, Criminal Minds Beyond Borders, Nacho Libre, and an upcoming major motion picture. We cross the border now from Old Mexico to the Old West. Welcome to Six Points, Texas. This is one of the oldest sets in all of Hollywood. We're the only studio to have our original Western sets still standing. They've just undergone a refurbishment so that they're safe and appropriate for modern day filmmaking. But many of your favorite cowboys have dueled on this very street, including this cowboy. Oh, just kidding, guys. You'll notice that the doors on either side of the tram, they're built in various different sizes. This is not a construction error. It's a little camera trick we use here in the movies called forced perspective. So for those Westerns, you want the cowboy heroes to look really big and tough, but some of the actors were smaller in size. So filmmakers would build the doors smaller than real life so that they would fill up the whole frame and look really big and strong. The same thing goes for those damsels in distress. Filmmakers would put them in doorways built larger than real life so that they would look smaller and more vulnerable. Six Points, Texas gets its name from being made up of 6 different streets, each its own individual town, complete with a bank, a post office, and a bar. And back in the silent days of movies, we were able to film 6 Westerns all at the same time, one on each street. So it didn't matter the sound traveled over, they were silent movies. The sound does matter today, and I will be going off microphone as we're filming Home and Family up ahead in Little Europe. Our tour is approximately at the halfway mark, so I just want to remind everyone to stay seated during the entire tour. The studio is private property, and if you drop your phone or just can't wait to use the restroom, pull the red cord to get my attention, and I'll be back to assist you, but do remain seated on the tram. Right now, we're able to take you inside of this soundstage. You may recognize it from an episode of Fox's hit show, Bones, that filmed here. As you can see, California tremor we get from time to time, folks. Nothing to worry about. Just stay calm, stay seated. I'm sure it'll be over in no time at all. You might want to cover your head in case there's any falling debris.
We're getting totally wet. Thank God my phone's waterproof.
When you just survived the earthquake, the big one. And when they were filming Bones here, they didn't just use the subway set. They actually used all of those mechanical effects we just experienced. And take a look how that finished scene appeared on television.
What's going on?
On your left-hand side, this truck is returning some props to one of our many prop storage facilities. Looks like the truck is from Warner Brothers Studios. We are one of the largest prop rental facilities in all of Hollywood, and any studio can rent from us. Now, after that earthquake, I think we all deserve a nice, relaxing vacation. Right? That's what we came here for. I know just the spot. Amity Island. This cute little New England town did have some shark attacks. But as you can see, we caught the shark. He's hanging up there.
Where?
And my good buddy Officer George is in the water, making sure that isn't happening again. What are you all pointing at? Oh no, we caught the wrong shark! Oh. Sir! Officer!
Do you have your
Get out of the water!
trigger?
There's a shark coming right at you!
Thanks, honey.
Oh no. Well, it looks like it's up to us to capture that shark. Let's see if he takes the bait attached to that yellow barrel. He's taking the bait. Uh-oh, he's taking the whole pier. Just how big is this shark?
Oh, the fire's hot. I can feel it from here.
If you look back, you'll see the world's only shark to do the backstroke. He's so talented, so reliable, so unlike the shark they had on the set of Jaws. That shark was only tested in a freshwater tank here on the Universal lot, and when they got him out to the saltwater Atlantic Ocean, he actually sank to the bottom of the ocean on the very first day of filming.
Oh no.
Totally unreliable. The crew started nicknaming the movie Flaws because of all the delays the shark caused. Production ended up being delayed over 100 days beyond schedule, but it came kind of lucky. It was a 4th of July movie, and it came out in the summer. It did mean that for the rest of the summer, nobody wanted to go into the water. The people were lined up around the block to see Jaws, and that's where we get the term blockbuster movie, especially for the summer. It all started with Jaws. Here to tell you all about working with that mechanical menace is director of Jaws, Steven Spielberg.
That's a much maligned shark. The shark was frustrating. It didn't really work all the time. It didn't work hardly at all.
Wherever you were on the island, you could hear the radio waves. They were always saying, the shark is not working. Repeat, the shark is not working.
We just waited around. We just waited and waited and waited. The shark worked well enough. For a while there, it had the biggest result. So I really owe the shark a lot.
On your right-hand side is our 2-story chicken ranch, originally built for the Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, starring Dolly Parton. Unlike the facades we saw earlier, this is what we call a practical set, meaning we can film both inside and outside of the house. they've created just one yellow facade of a neighbor's yellow house, so that if they're filming in the backyard or if the camera sees out of the window when they're filming inside, it looks like there's an entire neighborhood surrounding them. We turn the corner now into one of TV's most talked about streets, Wisteria Lane from
I knew it.
ABC's Desperate Housewives.
Nice.
If there is one thing everyone in suburbia can appreciate, it's a good neighbor.
Let's move back.
Before the housewives moved in, this was known as Colonial Street, and you've seen it in hundreds of commercials, music videos, comedies like Tom Hanks' The Burbs and Why Him, starring James Franco and Bryan Cranston, as well as television shows including The Mindy Project, About a Boy, and many more. Leave It to Beaver. Law and Order True Crime, The Menendez Murders. It is mostly known, most famously as Wisteria Lane from ABC's Desperate Housewives. And Colonial Street is one of our most popular filming locations here on the lot because it is such a typical suburban neighborhood. If filmmakers wanted to film out in a real neighborhood, they would have to get permits from the city, probably pay all of the tenants and the homeowners to film in front of their homes or even inside their homes, and then have to try to match the interior to what the exterior looks like and film back and forth. And then if the show got really popular, like Desperate Housewives did, then you have to worry about the security for all the stars as well. That's some of the reasons that a lot of filmmakers would rather film here on a studio lot instead of out in the real world. It also allows you to do lots of stunts, like drop a plane in the middle or have a house blow up or a tornado come in. We can do all of those things here on the Universal lot. Now, sometimes our scripts call for sets that you wouldn't find in real life, so we have to build them from scratch. They're a little more spectacular. There's no better example of that than Whoville from Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. We've got Whoville coming up on your right-hand side. This is just a small portion of the sets that were used in Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, directed by Ron Howard. They used huge portions of the backlot as well as 10 different sound stages for filming, using an 11 sound stage just to put all the Who's in their makeup every day. Now, the Grinch isn't the only neighbor those Who's had to worry about. Out here on the backlot, they had an even worse one. Norman Bates. There he is on the right-hand side. Did you guys see that guy?
We saw him.
That was Norman Bates, you guys. Uh-oh. We may have come at a bit of a bad time. You know what, Timothy? Let's just head out of here before he sees us. Oh, too late. New plan. Everyone wave and smile. Wave and smile. Uh-oh.
What's poppin', Dick?
His scary eyes.
Coming up on your left is the original Psycho House from Hitchcock's classic thriller.
He's watching us.
sets.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
And now one of the most spectacular sets ever created. This is the incredible crash site from Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds that starred Tom Cruise. I know I showed you a lot of fabricated sets so far on the tour. This is a real Boeing 747 aircraft that was bought and destroyed just for this scene in the film.
The airplane crash site set is a perfect example of a set that is all designed around the vision that Steven had.
When we first began to sit down to talk about the War of the Worlds, I thought, what if the 747 goes down right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Keep your eyes on me. Listen, now, listen, I want you to close your eyes, okay? Now I'm closed. Robbie, get in. Get in.
Airplane, it was not really in a plane crash. It was purchased from an airplane graveyard in the Mojave Desert and transported here, where the production design team set to work with some chainsaws and made it look like aliens had ripped the top off. We are approximately 10 minutes from the end of the tour and we'll be returning to the theme park shortly. Remember to pull the emergency cord if you need assistance, and please remain seated at all times. On your right hand side, that giant blue rectangle there, that is one of the world's largest freestanding backdrops. We call it Falls Lake, and we mostly use it for giant outdoor scenes. We'll fill it with water, make it look like the open ocean, and we can use the blue screen as it is now, or as a green screen for CGI or computer-generated imagery to create the backdrop of a sky. We could also paint it.
Look, this might be more serious than I thought. What just happened? This is a secure line. Who are you?
I'll tell you who I am, boy. I'm the reason bad guys use a nightlight. I'm the reason the boogeyman begs his mama to look under his bed. Reason you just lost control of this whole operation. My name is Special Agent Luke Hobbs of the U.S. Diplomatic Security Service, and as of 16.9 seconds ago, the man in charge.
The hell you...
Let me clue you in on two things, sweet cheeks. One, there's a high-value witness from the Federal Protection Program aboard your vehicle. An international crime syndicate led by Owen Shaw is going to take that witness out. Shaw's as ruthless as they come. He'll stop at nothing to eliminate his target. Every living soul on this vehicle is in serious danger. Other than that, enjoy the ride.
This is not your jurisdiction.
It is now.
I'm so tired of you state guys stepping in. Just
mute him.
Don't you?
That's better. We're moving here to a safe location until we have the situation under control. Until then, enjoy the ride.
Fast and Furious. Have your 3D glasses ready. You don't need to put them yet. I will let you know when, alright? Now as we move forward, please, no flash photography of any kind.
race day after party. And what other?
Roman, FBI, don't move.
Deal?
That's right, party's over.
You know how long I took to iron that shirt, man? I'm not.
You're under arrest right now. First for you. Oh, Roman, who do you work for? Hold my gun.
Don't worry. Look, our whole family will protect you.
Are you kidding me, Roman?
I'm in the middle. Call you back. So when I'm ready.
Sean traced us. Let him out. Try to move that vehicle.
It's about to get real.
Always doing. Logan, I need you and Lucky ready to roll.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please put on your 3D glasses. Please put on glasses.
Which one of you is the witness? Speak now or you all get fried!
This is our turn.
Oh my god.
Okay, guys, it's showtime.
Witness is mine, Betty! Don't think you're getting away! Pull in the
Don't climb it up the missile shot. Not gonna happen. Don't worry. I got
Yeah, now. Wow. That was fun.
You know, my Mona Lisa got messed up a little bit, but it's all good. We got through it. Y'all held us down. Appreciate it.
They say the bigger the family, the stronger it is. You guys did good out there. And you're welcome to join our crew anytime.
One more time for Fast and Furious Supercharged! Keep it going for our driver Timothy for getting us through that! Yeah! And for getting us home safely, you guys. That does bring us to the end of our tour, and on behalf of Timothy and myself and everybody here at NBC Universal, we do hope you've enjoyed this look behind the scenes at some of the most amazing